Hello, welcome to our presentation. Our names are Mustafa Çiftçioğlu, Deniz Nemirov, and Fahd. Today we are going to critical analysis of Dropbox. First, I want to talk about company viewer, then internal environment analysis, then external environment analysis, then current strategy issues, after that recommendations. Dropbox was founded in 2007. It's a file hosting service and global collaboration platform. It's a business to business and business to customer business. Customers use the company products to access their file from any device from Dropbox cloud storage network. Okay, let's look at some numbers now. As of November 2018, Dropbox has over 500 million users, the majority of which use the free storage space on offer. However, the company has 12.3 million paying users, which is up 10.8 million of a year ago. Each of these users pay a fee £7.99 per month in the UK for 1 terabyte of storage space. Over 300,000 teams use Dropbox business to business product. Now let's move on to some financial. Revenues are increasing. In the last quarter, they increased by 26 to $360 million on the same 3 months of 2017. Overall, since 2015, revenues have doubled 1.2 billion. Dropbox market share is 32%, which makes it second to Google, who have a market share of 36%. However, losses in 2018 have increased dramatically from $32 million in the first 3 months of 2007 to over $400 million in the same period as year. Okay, now I will move on to the current strategic position of Dropbox. Our analysis will begin with looking at what's happening within the company. This will be achieved by the first showing you the results of value change analysis. Then we will look at the conclusion of VRE analysis. Okay, so we create our value chain analysis of Dropbox to find out where the strengths and weaknesses of the company lie. One area of the business that was identified as was the operation activity. It is clear from the success of Dropbox. Since it's a creation that has been able to turn the capability of its staff into products that people want. Making innovative products has an immediate effect in helping market and sales as the product. This is of course reflect in the $500 million base enjoyed by Dropbox. This success of this area is supported by the secondary activities of human resource infrastructure. Human resources of course play a key role in recruiting talented computer engineers who can develop the products that will succeed in the market. Another strong area that is business marketing and sales. As we saw in the company overview, the company has seen paying customers increase over the 5 past years of around 2 million. This number shows that marketing mix of the company that was created by Dropbox has been successful. This extra 2 billion paying customers bring in revenues that can be used to grow the company in terms of attracting staff and more customers. The value added in this area of the company can have a direct impact on another primary activities as the extra revenues can be reinvested. For example, HRD may find the easiest to attract top talent to company that is deemed to be successful, and key indicator of this in this industry can be increase the number of users. However, the value change analysis has also identified an area of weaknesses in Dropbox primary activity. This area is outbound logistics, which is the area that delivers a product to market. Although Dropbox has been success story since its creation competes with some of the largest companies in the world, such as Google and Amazon Web Services. This relative difference means that Dropbox cannot benefit from the same economies of scale that its larger rivals. As a result of, Dropbox cannot offer some amount of free storage as its competitors. For example, Google offers 15 GB of free storage compared to 2 GB offered by Dropbox. This failure on infrastructure directly affects marketing and sales as its price product accordingly. This part of the business is an area that could be strengthened and add value. Okay, now I will continue our internal analysis of the company by taking you through the finding of your value analysis. So the purpose of value to assess the competitive advantage or lack of the value research within the company. And the first research we look at was our users, our customer base. As we have shown, Dropbox has around $500 million use, which gives it market share 32%. So it's research variable. Yes, absolutely. So 500 million is a lot of people. This size of this resource means that it goes of company against the threat of new entrants. It can also be used to exploit new opportunities in the enterprise market. This number of users is also rare, only Google have more. This research is not easily immutable. It would cost of company hundreds of millions of pounds to build a business with this many users. The organization exploits the research through promotions such as its referral program, where users are given more free space if they refer a friend. This has contributed to spread from the company. The company also uses innovative strategic planning in its behalf to develop new products which the research can be targeted. The second research we analyzed was intellectual capabilities of the company. In the market that depends on the software development is a vital part of any business. It's very important. We conclude that Dropbox's intellectual capability is valuable. It's consequently designing new products that will allow you to exploit new opportunities, such as in enterprise collaboration software. It is also rare as there are a limited number of employees proficient in this industry. Indeed, in a survey by company, 70% of cloud companies reported they faced a shortage of technical cloud seekers. Finally, we look at the cloud storage infrastructure, which is always the key research of the company. It's a valuable asset for the company that cloud storage market is expected to double by 2023, and posing this infrastructure means that the company can potentially continue to grow by attracting new customers. However, it's not a rare research. Companies can gain this capability in a number of ways. It can either develop necessary IT system itself, or it can have this research supplied by another company. As a result, we think this is research only gives Dropbox competitive parity with now. Okay, this concludes our internal analysis. I will now hand over to Fahid, who will discuss about finding from external things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mustafa. Okay, so the two models we chose to analyze the external environment with are Pestle model and Porter 5 forces. So let's start with the Pestle analysis and the areas that Dropbox has to concentrate on the least. There are general political and legal development that the company must keep an eye on. For example, the European Union is currently drawing up a new legal structure for companies that do business on the internet for 2022. Within this new legal framework will be new terms and conditions that all of the Dropbox users will have to agree to. However, this process is a collaboration between the EU and the industry and is a development that must be observed rather than prioritized. Environmental factors are not a pressing issue at the moment for the company. However, there is a risk that concerns about the impact of data storage. Consuming a lot of energy could have political or economic impacts. For example, in 2017, The Guardian reported about the dangers to the environment because of the energy used by storing the data of millions of devices. This could develop into a bigger issue for Dropbox, but is not a priority in the immediate future. Okay, let us now turn to some of the bigger issues that exist in the external environment. First of all, we examined the economic environment. As you can see from the slide, the cloud storage is growing at a credible pace. In the business-to-customer market, global revenues are predicted to more than double by 2021. In the business-to-business market, specifically the enterprise collaboration market, revenues are forecasted to increase from $34 billion to $57 billion over the next 5 years. This shows there are great opportunities for growth in these markets. However, the chase for the market share means that the downward pressure on prices is continuing. For instance, earlier this year, Google cut the storage prices by 50%. Next, I want to talk about the social culture environment and how it may affect Dropbox. As we saw on the previous slide, the enterprise collaboration market is increasing rapidly. This is being driven by the changing nature of how people go about their working lives. Employees no longer access all company data, training, or communication through a traditional hard drive. Individuals increasingly use their own devices, including laptops, tablets, and smartphones at work. Including to an insight, 87% of companies rely on employees using their personal devices. The last area of external environment is the technological area. In an industry such as this, it is no surprise that the environment is constantly evolving and that the company must stay up to the minute with any changes. The most significant new development that will affect Dropbox is continuing rollout of 5G technology. The testing has continued throughout 2018 in places such as Sacramento in California. This technological advance means that smartphones will be able to access broadband speeds in the street, as according to the Insight, this new generation is 100 times faster than 4G. This means that many companies until now hadn't considered Dropbox products such as its enterprise collaboration software. Many now see it is as essential for their business. This change in the environment has a huge significant impact on Dropbox strategic planning. Okay, let's now move on to the second model we used to examine the external environment, Porter's 5 forces model. First of all, we concluded that the threat of new entrants is low. Small niche players can enter the market. However, Dropbox and Google have hundreds of millions of users and well-developed systems and infrastructure. Therefore, the risk of a new company replacing Dropbox in the short term is low. If you look at the next slide, you can see that we believe the bargaining power of suppliers is medium. In 2016, Dropbox made the decision to build its own cloud storage infrastructure as it had previously rented space from Amazon Web Services. As a result, the company doesn't face the risk price increases the price increases being forced upon it, which has reduced that risk. However, the company is dependent on continuing innovations of its skilled employees. As it has been stated previously, the market has a shortage of these people, and therefore, these workers have a lot of bargaining power. So overall, the bargaining power of suppliers is medium. The threats of substitutes, in our opinion, is low. Firms can replace cloud storage solutions within house IT systems. However, with social culture and technological changes, our assessment is that the risk is extremely low. Finally, we will look at the areas that are high risk for Dropbox. The risk of competitive rivalry is extremely high. Dropbox rivals are huge companies that include Google and Microsoft. These companies spend vast sums on research and innovation, and there is a constant risk that a new development or feature could give them a competitive advantage. For example, companies value data privacy extremely high, and the company that brings the securest product to the market could threaten Dropbox market share. Therefore, the risk of competitive rivalry is high. Finally, the bargaining power of buyers. The risk is also high. The reason for this is the strategy of Dropbox. Dropbox is a neutral player with no connection to other products. Users are attracted to this freedom. However, it also means the user is free to leave Dropbox and terminate their contract whenever they like. In addition, the freemium model used by Dropbox means that its 500 million users are extremely sensitive to price changes. This means that the user may switch if Dropbox changes its pricing model. Therefore, the bargaining power of buyers is high. And now I'll pass to my colleague, Dennis.
Thank you very much, Farhad. So the internal and external analysis that we have just taken you through have highlighted the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, as well as threats that exist for Dropbox today. So what we're going to do now is identify the key issues that the company must face and evaluate them using the SAF criteria. We will assess the strategic issues and challenges using the 3 steps of this model: suitability, acceptability, and feasibility. So, does developing new products exploit the strengths of Dropbox? Yes, absolutely. As we've seen, strength of the business lies in the operations area of the business and is backed by research and development as a secondary activity. Therefore, the strategy would utilize the company's strengths. Now, for example, in 2018, the BBC announced that it would use Dropbox for all its storage and collaboration needs. I mean, this is a very strong endorsement of a world-famed company, worldwide company, and it would obviously help Dropbox deal with challenges of competitive rivalry, as developing new products would help the company stay ahead of the game. As we discussed earlier in the presentation, the intellectual capabilities that lie within the company are rare and very difficult to imitate. The acceptability stage of the SAF criteria focuses on 3 R's: risk, return, and reaction. The risk for innovative companies that develop new products is always high. We believe that the greater risk comes from Dropbox competitors, as their new products have had a huge impact on their business. Now, the risk of following diversification strategy is higher, as the internal analysis of Dropbox did not identify any strengths that would make the strategy low risk. So in addition, a sensitivity analysis showed that even if the growth in the markets were 20% less than forecasted, there would still be an increase of tens of billions in that space. Therefore, the risk of new products failing because of economic reasons is also very low. So, moving on, we'll talk about returns. So, as mentioned several times, the enterprise collaboration software market is predicted to increase dramatically in the next 5 years and predicted to be worth about $57 billion. This means that if new products are successful, the returns will be very high. Furthermore, if the method used to pursue this strategy is through organic diversification rather than acquisitions, the capital investment will be much lower. So as a result, the rate on capital expenditure for Dropbox would be much higher. In terms of reaction, Dropbox has built its business on the basis of being innovative and a niche player. One of its key boasts is a neutral player and isn't tied to any other products. So if the company chose a diversification strategy, then customers may react in a negative way if this feature was removed. In addition, according to Gartner, employees in the software development industry cite continued learning as a reason for choosing the company. Therefore, a strategy that followed organic diversification would get a positive reaction from the stakeholders that work in Dropbox, as their creative aspirations of the staff could be met. So the final step of the SAF model is to evaluate the feasibility of the strategy. The financial position of the company is fairly good. Although the company made a loss of $111 million in the last financial year, its revenues and users have been steadily growing, which means funding for developing new products would be assured. In addition, according to Bloomberg, Dropbox secured a $600 million credit facility in 2017. These factors make their strategy choice financially feasible. So now we have finished our evaluation of strategic positions and are now ready to give our recommendations. Now, our recommendations are based on Porter's generic strategic model. We recommend that the Dropbox follows a differentiation strategy in which their direction is to produce new products and new services. As we have seen, Dropbox has been successful to date in being an innovative company. This has allowed it to create a valuable resource in its operational activity, which is supported by strong secondary activities in HRD and R&D. So investment must continue to flow into these areas so that opportunities that exist in the growing enterprise collaboration markets can be exploited. Therefore, Dropbox should incentivize its staff through existing strategies such as Hack Week. It should also implement a bonus scheme that rewards new products that are successfully launched into the market. In addition, the company should look to invest and expand in cloud storage facilities. It must have the infrastructure in place so it doesn't have to outsource any services to competitors. Now, it is also recommended that this strategic objective is achieved through organic diversification. The biggest resource and capability of Dropbox is its staff and the intellectual capability that they possess, as mentioned previously. It would be a strategic error to ignore the fact and hope to achieve competitive advantage through acquisition. The risks of this strategy are higher suitability, acceptability, and feasibility. Therefore, we recommend that the company implements a training program for selected teams in the areas that have been identified in this presentation, namely enterprise collaboration software and cloud storage. Now, in conclusion,